Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is Hong with Cash Property, and I am super excited to have a female real estate investor and agent and CEO on the call today. So, Tina, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then I'm going to jump in with a lot of my questions that I know other females are having as well and other investors are having as well. So go ahead.
Okay. All right. And before I forget, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a lawyer. And I'm not an accountant. So all of the information that I'm presenting is really just my ideas, my advice, my opinion. So before you implement any of it, get somebody else's opinion on this. Show them my video and see what they say. Okay. So just a little disclaimer there. So
sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Tina Ebrahimi, and basically we are a commercial real estate company that specializes in small office space for entrepreneurs and on the North Shore and downtown in Vancouver. And we have a complete shift in paradigm on how we approach our clients and how we deal with them. And it's very community based. And it all started off because when I came into the industry initially, I was quite quickly turned off by the interactions I was experiencing as a real estate agent in the commercial market. And I really wanted to be able to make a difference with all of that. And was grateful to be able to establish being able to do so through having our own portfolio to just create a shift in what the actual interaction and communication and all that should be between commercial landlords and tenants. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. My background is actually in something completely different than business. My background's in psychology and French, but I guess along the way I missed that I like problem solving better than emotional problem solving. So I probably should have figured that one out sooner. But nevertheless, so that is pretty much me as a summary.
Okay, well, fantastic. So the first question that I have for you, because I get this a lot from the female clients that I meet who want to get into real estate. So what was like the biggest challenge you faced being a female getting into real estate?
It's actually a really great question, Hung, because I think many people may know in British Columbia in particular, I can't speak for other provinces, but commercial realtors, those being female, are very, very sparse in commercial. So it was very challenging because I came from a predominantly female dominated background, whether it was French or psychology, or just I was in the career counseling sector for a short while. It was quite a big shift. And the biggest thing was to be able to establish yourself and earn the kind of the respect and professionalism while, trying to rediscover your hidden talents. And I think that's an ongoing journey, but it was definitely something that I needed to challenge myself on in order to stay true to what I was possibly able to create.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely would encourage ladies to stay committed to whatever it is that's causing them to go into those fields. And that, I mean, as human beings, I just believe we all have something to share. And it'd be really sad if it was to see that because of gender, roles or the specifications that we assume are gender roles, we limit ourselves to what our capacity is.
Yeah, and you're correct. Like I see and know a lot of female residential real estate agents, but not that many commercial agents. No. Right. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Like it's still very male dominated. Right. And so I think more females going into that sector would definitely help promote that. So talking about your journey into real estate, was there somebody who was really instrumental in helping you sort of pave the way for you?
It's really funny, Hung, because I didn't choose this path because I was kind of wanting to go there. I don't know if you've ever been placed in a spot in your life where you've kind of been thrown into something, but you didn't really choose it. You were just kind of like, all right, I'll take this on, but didn't sign up for this one.
Okay.
It was it was an inner guidance, I think, that I felt, and there was something very, very strong in me. It was supposed to be like a temporary short-term position within the company. And I just wound up staying because there was just this little voice that just kept saying, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I'm grateful that I did. But I think the key message I'd like for people to take home with them today is exactly that. you don't know where you're meant to be at all times. And if you're being guided somewhere else, there's probably good reason for it. They're probably preparing you for something that you're not even aware you can handle. So that was my experience of it.
Right. Right. So just being open to the opportunity as they come.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. Okay. And this right now is a perfect time to talk about what you just said. It's such a good segue. And I'm so grateful, first of all, Hung, that you're sharing your time with me today and you're exposing this to people to be able to learn whatever it is that they're able to learn from this conversation, because it is a time of not knowing. And, I would say that for the better, I would say even still, there's most often times that I'm walking into the dark, not knowing what the next step is. But I think that we just need to, as long as we take the next best action, and we use our wisdom, which I think is the key thing that we need to do right now, all of us in this circumstance, that's when you become, I don't want to use the word successful, but you get to where the next best version of you is,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So now, when we were talking before, you mentioned that a big portion of your company's real estate portfolio is in office spaces. And I love that because as a real estate investor, I work from home, but there's times where I need to have the presence of an office behind me so that I can meet with clients and use a bigger space than what I have. So can you give me like a couple of tips that as a self-employed investor, what should I look for when I'm looking for a satellite office space to use?
For sure. I'm so glad you asked that question because it's one of my favorite ones. I always encourage people to keep your overhead low, right? And what's great about our product is that we have small office space. So, rent what you need. I think it was an article a couple of years ago, I believe it was CBRE released, about how people actually rent more than what they need. And so maybe it's just visualizing how much space you need. Maybe it's being efficient with it. So that's the number one thing. And with our office spaces, we have one person workstation offices, independent offices that start at $375, and then the average that goes to like $700 or $800 for that startup business or that satellite company. And I guess the key question I would ask you, like, let's say if you were in the scenario where you were in real time looking for something, would be, Hung, what are your crucial needs? And do you meet clients at the office, or will it be mainly over the phone? So that will indicate to you whether or not you need a little bit more space in case the meeting room's occupied and you want to have an impromptu meeting. You can have it in your office. If not, if you're via phone, then I would say to you, you know what? Why don't you sign up and get a mailbox with us, which is you get the mailing address and you can make use of the boardroom. And that way you're only paying $75 a month. So it really depends. Like, I really like our team is very informed in trying to engage what it is that you guys need to begin with.
Yeah, because so in my situation, because I travel so much,
that
there are times where I need a PO box where my mail's going to one central location, and that it's that consistency that I present to my clients that I've got this one mailing address, right? Sure. But then it's also being able to access like printers and like just having somebody pick up the phone and pretend like they're at my front desk.
Yes. Right? Yes. I think it's interesting that you're saying that because I do think, Hung, like in this with what's happening there, people's first impressions may be, oh, well, let me, cut costs. And it's being really mindful because I think you're right. I think that there's still a presence in setting up our businesses when there's somebody answering the call, when there's an office to meet at, when you have a physical address. It's kind of like people will, it's just like, it's human nature. It's the psychology behind human nature is we will look at people and how they present themselves, where they present themselves, and that establishes trust and credibility. That's just, we all do it, and may not be completely accurate all the time, but it definitely is a big factor. And I think it's one of the number one reasons that people break out of their home offices and come rent with us that I've heard from clients is, other than the kids screaming in the background.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So now tell me a little bit more about how somebody would contact you or your team if they were interested in like looking at that option of having like a satellite office or, renting that space.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are, as of today, We are working at our desks, but at home. But so you guys are able to access the same number that's basically on our website, which is on Google, which I should know by heart, 604-636-1855, or you can email admin@palagon.com. Our team is like up and ready to serve you guys. And if anybody wants to personally connect with me, you know, my LinkedIn is available, and my email address, Ebrahimi, Ebrahimi @palagon.com. I would be happy to support, or just anybody who's, you know, challenged at this time, in any way possible, even if it's related to office space or renting it, or if it's not. So please do reach out. Yeah.
Okay, so if going and having in-person meetings now is limited, what is your team doing at site to help sort of reduce, you know, the passing of germs and stuff like that?
I'm so grateful that you asked. So we're very lucky because the owners are quite a little bit OCD, and I say that in a jokingly way. So we already had hand sanitizer machines set up in every single hallway in our head office location. So and knock on wood, we are very, very thorough. I think the key thing that is very much ingrained in our work culture, and it's on our website for a reason, our core value is evolution. One of our core values, one of our three. And you know, as an evolving company, you know, we had a strategic plan, and we're still working on that. Is okay, how do we get ahead? We have signs all across the building. It's really funny. I'll maybe send you one personally via text after this. There's this funny eagle. If you're at Marine Drive and Capilano Road, you will see this eagle image, and it's just kind of looking at you like, do you need to rent an office? We've plastered his face all over the building, and I've said, have you remembered to wash your hands? And we're just trying to make it funny, right? And then, of course, the emails to everybody. There's letters in the elevators. There's emails that have gone out weekly so far. Our team has hand sanitizer. We've had vitamin C brought in for them. I've brought in we wanted to start like a Fresh Fridays concept. So we brought in smoothies for people, so they have their vitamin C up until we had to literally leave. And so, you know, that's it. Hand wipes every time you come back from the office, hand washing, and just thinking, yeah, those are the key things. And of course, not etiquette is really interesting. Actually, I just thought of something, and maybe I'll share it because my gut tells me I feel like a lot of people may want to hear this. Predominantly, the majority of our demographic is Iranian, and there is a lot of customary stuff, and like naturally, like shaking hands is a sign of respect, to like, you know, that exchange. And, you know, this has been such a shift because sometimes our warmth is exhibited through the handshake. And so to just like mindfully be there with the client and just make eye contact with them. And yet maybe we turn a little bit Japanese right now, you know, we're just like, you know, just basically engaging in them with the limited body language that we can, I think has been really important as well while we're maintaining our hand sanitizer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because like when you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, some of the French people I know, they kiss like 3 times, right? So it's like, okay, so now I can't do that.
Yeah, same with Persians. Yeah, 2 or 3, depending on what you like.
Yeah. Okay, so it's good to know that. So even during this time, if somebody needs to do an in-person meeting, they could still have access to the facilities.
So yeah, they can. I will say, just being mindful of kind of, I want to respectfully lead behind all the other leaders as well, or with them at least. I have put out notices that, you know, we appreciate that non-essential stuff really comes to a pause, at least for the next 2 weeks. And that's pretty much it. So, you know, it's definitely a shift in what our product is, which is a physical space. But I think that people will return. I truly believe that we will recover from this faster than we can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. And the benefits coming out of the situation that we're in, it's going to make a lot of business owners and self-employed individuals look at their finances, look at where their expenses are going in terms of their overhead.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And having a smaller office, you know, and sharing common space with other investors and business owners will allow them to cut down on their overall costs. Yes. Right. And going to your firm is one of the ways of doing that without, you know, giving up all of the presence of a big business.
Absolutely. I'm really glad you brought that up. Yeah, because we had a group meeting, a team meeting. That's exactly what we're discussing, is how do we deal with, knock on wood, there's been very few, but how do we deal with the people that are mainly reacting out of fear, and how do we come up with solutions for them, right? Rather than having them walk and then have to walk, like come back again, right? And deal with the move in and move out process. So definitely, like, you know, people who are, let's say they want to keep their overhead low, I would recommend they take one of our mailboxes. We only have like 4 left. So I would recommend they snatch them up, but that would be a good, you know, transition.
Okay. All right. Tina, I am so happy to have this time to spend with you and ask you all these questions, because I was like dying to know, like, you know, as a female investor, right? Like, how do we get into the industry and break down a lot of the glass doors, right? So I'm so glad to have this time to talk to you. So I'm going to let you end off with your last words or a last tip that you want to give to people. What would that be?
Sure. I think that the biggest guidance I'd like for people to maintain, whether it's right now or any time, is just to really combine the art of just like intuition with wisdom and logic. And remember that there's a marriage between those two. And when you use both of those two, crazy things happen, crazy things that you can't even imagine that you would have been able to create. And I feel like this is a really good time for us to reconnect with those innate abilities we all have, and look at founders and great thinkers or philosophers or people who were able to, you know, gain opportunity and you know, maybe cast a light or share their gifts with the world at points like this. So those are my last words for everybody. Sending you all
words
love.
of wisdom and logic.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much, everybody, for watching.
Hi, I'm Hong with Cash Property Inc. We help you, regardless of age, financial situation, and education, get as much money as you want. If you like our video, please click on the like buttons below and subscribe to our channel.